Hi guys, Jamie from Boxing Life, and today I've got a special film study and a guy who is actually one of my favorite fighters, and that is, of course, Alexis Arguello, who's on the right here. And personally, the reason I kind of got so into Alexis Arguello was when I first started boxing, and it was an old coach I had. I was in the gym, and I asked him, who should I be studying, to help with my own style. And he recommended Alexis Arguello, and I'd never heard of him at the time because I just first started getting into boxing, and I checked him out. And from that point on, I didn't model my style off him or anything like that, but I definitely was hugely influenced by the way he approached in the ring. And in particular, one of the reasons was I was sparring like smaller guys at the time. The sparring group in the gym at the time in my weight were kind of like shorter guys, and Alexis Arguello obviously fought in kind of the lower weight divisions against kind of come forward, aggressive, swarmer type fighters at times. And he kind of had longer limbs. He was called the thin explosive man for a reason, because he was a lanky kind of guy in those divisions, but he had superb knockout power. And that was mainly because of the technique. But yeah, I think with this film study, I just want to show you some of the techniques and strategies Alexis Arguello did so well in the ring. And, I think even just watching him for following the fundamentals, he's a brilliant fighter to watch. So, we'll get right into it. So this fight I'm going to show you, the first one anyway, is with Escalera, who's from Puerto Rico, very good fighter. And this is actually their rematch that took place. And Alexis Arguello does a tremendous job in this fight, setting up the left hook and using the left hook to set up his famous right hand. And you'll see here, he kind of throws it in a looping motion, but it's more of a, I don't know, you've probably seen some of my videos and me talk about this, is throwaway punches. So he's using it as a way to occupy the guard or distract his opponent so he can set up his more powerful right hand. And he kind of, in this sequence, he actually misses three. I think in the third time he throws it, he actually hits Escalera in the guard. That's 4 times he's done it. And because of that, the body position, he's able to throw the right hand, and he absolutely cracks Escalera there. And he does it again, and he goes into the clinch there. And see what I mean? Like, he's a very smart fighter, Arguello. You can see there he kind of goes into the high guard after he's in a vulnerable position after throwing. Immediately throws the jab. Escalera does a good job to slip the punch, but he misses. And I do see criticism about Arguello in terms of him defensively. He moved back in straight lines a little bit sometimes, but he was actually very evasive. And this is not just another example of it. I'll do it. As he moves back, check left hook. And immediately you can see the panic in Escalera, thinking that the right hand is going to get followed up. But Arguello notices this, and I think he throws the jab out and catches him and sets up the left hook behind it. Escalera comes forward, and I think that's the thing about Escalera. He was trying to close the distance on Alexis Arguello in this fight, mainly just to stop him getting the full extension of his punches. And even from this position, this is actually a really bad position for Escalera. Look at the distance is perfect for Arguello, sorry. That is the perfect distance for him. And Arguello's just patient. Uses the jab. If the jab is touching, the right hand is going to go far. But this is what Alex Arguello does really well in terms of mixing up his attacks and his punch selection. So here, instead of, Escalera is probably expecting that right hand to follow up, but Alex Arguello throws the hook off the jab. And guess who did that recently? Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. It's a very underrated punch, especially if your opponent is expecting you to throw the right hand. Or you can make him think that the right hand's going to come. You can feint the right hand, but then in fact throw the left hook. And Escalera actually gets caught out bad here, and you'll see later, why it's so effective. Escalera using his head there. Once again, perfect distance for Arguello. Escalera is trying to close the distance, but he's very aware that right hand could just come from nowhere. Body jab. And you can see even from Escalera, the opening right here. He's more cautious about the left hook coming rather than the body jab. Just smart from Arguello. And look at that, just brilliant, fundamental. Look, bends his knees, slips off the line to land the body jab. Really just, and then he comes over the top of the right. Followed up with a left. The left again. Just brilliant shot selection. And Escalera does actually a good job blocking a lot of those punches there, but it keeps him guessing. And look, Escalera then throws out the jab, gets caught out with the left hook again. And then it's really just amazing from Alex Arguello, in my opinion, the way he mixes up that left hook. And you kind of throw, that's kind of like more of a Soviet left hook right there. The way he's kind of throwing that with the palm facing down. If you actually look at this, look at the palm facing down. Connect. It just shows you the versatility of it. This is just another example. He tries to get to the body. He probably kind of slides off the body. But now he's in the perfect position to throw the right hand. And look at Escalera's guard. Completely down. And he's wide open. Bang. Perfect shot. And the body mechanics of Arguello in this sequence is just, in my opinion, just shows his great understanding of what to throw from your body position. So, for example, throws the jab, right hand, misses. Because he's missed, and he's kind of over the top, he knows he needs to throw the left hook. And then the left hook kind of grazes the body and slides off him. Now that puts him in the position to throw the right hand. Perfect execution. And then because he's throwing that right hand, look at his body position. What's the next obvious punch to throw? It's the left hook. And you guys, I don't know about you, but you'd be amazed by how many people do not know the right punch to throw with your body mechanics. Now, sometimes depending on the situation of where you are in the ring, actually throwing the punch can be a bad thing. You can get countered. But it's worth taking the risk sometimes if you're on the aggressive and your opponent's guard is all over the place. And even just there, look at the high guard he uses. And even dips for the body shot. Blocking the shots to the midsection. He was a bit squared up there in the ropes, which was dangerous. He would get caught. This the one thing I will say about Arguello, though. He would get caught with like uppercuts up the middle. But he'd kind of slide and roll a lot of shots. Kind of like Canelo-esque in many ways. The way he kind of would roll shots, win on the inside. Those throwaway hooks. Just brilliant. Now I want to get to the knockout. So this is the first knockdown. You know, at this point in the fight, I think it was maybe around round 5 or something like that. Escalera is trying to push the pace on Arguello, and Arguello is just having to counter him as he's coming forward. And as you guys have seen already, that the left hand right straight is so devastating. What's he going to throw here? The left hook. Bang. Left hook. Check left hook. Let's watch that again. You know, Escalera is leaving himself, you know, he's kind of coming forward with the jab. He's wide open. Look, he's actually dropped his right hand there. I know we can't see the other view, but great from Arguello. Just brings that punch in. That check left hook. Brilliant. Brilliant shot. And you'll see for the knockdown what he does. Speed it up a little bit. Escalera is pushing the pace. He doesn't... and he gets him again. And this is the issue if you guys are rushing in, trying to land your jab or your left hook. Look at that. The positioning of the right hand was poor. And Arguello picked that up from the first knockdown. He's all over the place. Beautiful. Look at the connection of that. So if we just slow it down, Arguello actually, he slips the jab and comes over the top. Oh, beautiful shot. I hope you enjoyed this segment from my film study on Alexa Arguello. If you want to see the full 45-minute film study, you can head over to my Patreon, where you can see an ever-growing library of in-depth film studies just like this. A lot of the content I create sometimes gets blocked or demonetized on YouTube, so that's the best place where I can share these. Plus, you can get early access to upcoming videos and extra content including predictions alongside betting tips and monthly Q&As. At the champ level tier, you can even request your own film studies or boxing topic for me to cover. This is a great way to support the channel, and it's also my way of giving back to you guys, giving you exclusive content. If you're interested, make sure to check out the link in the description. And as always guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.